Hello guys, today we'll be examining my state-of-the-art code. First up, we of course need some instructions, so I'm gonna switch my voice real quick. Prince Anku's art piece, black print. Computer Tech, January 20th, 2026. Here in my code, we fight for fun, access fly. Behold behold my code. So first we have this like index because my code is so wonderful. And first is on line 18, so transparency. So if you turn up the invis, you'll be able to see through everything. I know, pretty amazing, but yeah. And of course you could also change this number directly, but that would be no fun. And the higher the number, the more visible it gets. Like 45, you can barely see it. 10, pretty invisible. 15, oh yeah, that. Like, when you get past 7, when you get past 5, it just starts looking like really invisible. In fact, 3, 2 is actually the nicest setting. Because you can still see the colors and shades and stuff. But we won't go that far into that, but we checked off our transparency. And if you want to know how to make a linear gradient in JavaScript, here's how you do it. So I make a gradient variable, which is the ctx.create linear gradient. But you gotta be careful here, because before you even do that, you have to make sure you have these two variables in play, because it gets out the 2D context, and without this context, it will not function. So, yeah. But first, this linear gradient, these two control the start point, these two control the end point, using normal x and y coordinates. And then over here is gradient dot add color stop. So you choose your color here, and you choose like where it is in your thing. 1 is like the end and 0 is the start. So we want the red at the start of our gradient. And then I wanted black to be like more wide, because without 2 it would be like very skinny. But yeah. And here is the last part of the color stop. And also you gotta make sure the color you state is in quotes, or else it will not work at all. And then fill style equals gradient. So yeah, it sets the fill style to all of this, and that's going to be how this rectangle is filled. So here, this rectangle is actually where the gradient shows up. So if I were to make this like 240, it wouldn't show the whole gradient. Like, example, only showing half of it. So let's change that back to 540, and now it's back to normal. But anyways, the gradient's done. Time for the grid lines. So in JavaScript, there are these things called for loops, and they help you when you're doing basically the same thing like a bunch of times. For example, you washing dishes, and instead of washing one dish and coding one dish, you can just code a bunch of dishes and then make one thing change about them. Like, yeah. So I did that for lines. I made one line, but I made them move a little bit to the right and for the horizontal ones a little bit downward. So that created this grid-like pattern. So for loops, there's a few basic things. You have the variable, the condition, and the change rate in your variable. Oh, and I made mine's divided by lines because I want to control how many lines show up in my code. And now I think of it, that probably isn't necessary, but as you can see right now, there's 1, 2, 3. Well, the black one's covered, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, no, it must be counting the vertical going down ones. It must be counting like the horizontal ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yo, 1, 2. Oh no, cause over here it makes its first line over here. So on the complete border, so you can't see it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah. Anyways, and then of course I make the lines using these things called move to and line to, and you always have to move to first, because move to like moves your pen. Like when you're drawing on paper and you gotta move your pen, if you don't use move to, for example, if I remove it, move to, and let's say I replace it with a line to, our code would look like this. Doesn't look bad, but not what I was going for. So we change that back to move to, and it actually shows a normal grid. Anyways, over here we choose the line width, and yeah, line width only accommodates a stroke command, so it won't work with the other command, like the fill command. So this stroke like makes our line. It doesn't fill or anything, it just makes our line. And it can make 2 lines at once. Anyways, for now that our grid lines are done, how about the brain outline? So I used a bunch of circles. If we go back to transparency and change it to like 5 or like 2, you can see these circles inside. I used 2 circles for each, okay? One set of circles is for the outline. So actually, first we're gonna start with, we're skipping the brain outline and doing the brain first. So as you can see, the brain is the one including the black circles, and it's pretty chill. But the main thing you gotta see here is that the circles have specific sizes to make the edges around the brain. So of course I could only make like a few circles, but we'll show you. So if we go here, the brain uses a few circles, but if you are a real coder, you know circles, that doesn't exist normally in JavaScript. So I'll show you this thing I made called a function. This is a circle function. So what it does is control a way to make circles without using the original thing, which took years. So before we used arc, and the arc had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parameters that you had to use. But all I wanted to do is make a circle. So I just made this function that only made circles. And of course, it's radius first, x, and then y. Probably should have made it the other way around, but no changing that. But in a function, it's same for every time I call the circle and the parentheses. The parentheses must have all three numbers in there for it to work. For example, if I remove this 225, I forgot what that number was, but if I remove it, okay, still kind of shows something because this is the outline. But as you can see, in the outline, there's, did I not ruin it? Yeah. Okay, 220. Maybe this doesn't even make the circle at all. Well, I'll show y'all with the actual thing. If you go over here, delete the 255, the circle completely disappears, leaving only the outline circle. Anyways, time to place it back. And you see, the spot is there again. But, back to the function. If I made, like, this is actually an arc function. It's usually, it could be used for making circles, but it's mainly for arcs. For example, if I make this 1/2, that's going to be like half through the arc, or a fourth through the arc. Making it, I guess it could be a brain, but don't look like it. And if I made it 3/2, it'd be like a 3/4 of a circle, like 3 quadrants. That's what they're called. Still looks like a brain, but once you make it like 4/2, or 4 divided by 2, which is kind of just 2, it makes it like this, the normal brain silhouette. So you can adjust the functions all the time without adjusting every single parameter, every single ctx.arc. So that's cool about that's the cool thing about this. And even if you want it to be smaller, look, this radius thingy, just press divide by 2. Now it makes a bunch of circles, and I don't know if this will work, but divide by 2. Divide by 2. Now it does make a brain looking shape still, if you notice. Actually, really brain looking, surprisingly. But yeah, we want it to be a bigger scale, so we just do that and it draws our outline. Interesting. But anyways, time to stop playing around. Y'all have stuff to learn. I focus on fun coding here, so let's see. We already covered the brain. Ooh, the brain stem. That just uses line twos and move twos. Oh, but it uses a new thing called line cap and stroke style. So stroke style basically controls the color of the line. Like, for example, I can make it blue, and behold, the blue. So yeah, that's the cool thing about that. But we want it originally at black. Then line cap. See, do you see how the edges of the line are round? If that's because of this line cap. So if we make it like butt, it's a different type of line cap. Yo, why isn't it working? Oh, that's for the text. Never mind, that's for the text. I was doing the text, which I don't think the line cap matters too much, but here it does. Look, if I change it to butt, the line cap looks very goofy, like extremely goofy, but it shows like squares for the different points and lines I used. And then over here, I'm pretty sure if it's nothing, it'll automatically be round because we already change it to something a little bit above this, but I forgot the types of line caps, so I'm gonna go look it up. Things. No, I actually have to change this down so y'all can see me searching. Parameter. Possible attributes. Oh. Line cap. Line cap in JS. But round or square. So I'm gonna do square to see how that turns out. I actually haven't done square before, so we both see. And square basically makes a bunch of squares. But anyways, we're gonna change this back to round and examine the rest of my amazing code. If you want to make something like this, please come and share it with me, and I will appreciate your effort and maybe help you out. So you can share it to me, like give me a link to it in the comments, whatever you want to do. I can go look at yours. Anyways, back to the video. And this is actually like an amazing thing, so you don't have to like code, make your text with line twos and move twos. So you see this font thingy, Gearmond is the font I use, and serif. If it's not serif, it looks mostly the same because of this font, but usually it will look way different. Like, let's see. It looks like pretty much the same. Let's look at it at the same time, real time. And if I make it serif, this is this is it with serif. This is it without serif. Looks like exactly the same, but I'm keeping it on serif. Right. But anyways, we of course have a line with command for this, and also the words black print. I'll go further into the meaning in my next video, but those are the texts, and here is the X of a text, like where it is like left to right, and the Y of the text is a ginormous number, like 220 is how it is up and down. And I made two of them, one for the middle and one for the outline. This one's the outline. You put the outline in the back. And then my most favorite part, I saved for last, is of course the marquee. Look at this. Its behavior to ultimate, and look at this scroll amount. I wonder what will happen. Do you see how fast it's bouncing back and forward? What if we change that number to 100? Or 1,000? Okay, maybe like 500. Maybe like 300? 200? Maybe like... Okay, well, 100 is still fast. And what's the highest number I can change it to without it looking crazy? I think I guess... Yeah, so this is the max. Actually, what if I make it all nines? Yeah, so with all nines, this is how it looks. Pretty crazy, pretty insane. And it looks like it's overlapping and creating Black Panther. Okay, maybe just black, black, overlapping, whatever. Let's put it back to like 99. Still too big. So now we can see it bouncing forward. And we can also change it. Oh, I repeated the word slide. I feel dumb. Scroll, slide, or alternate. So let's change it to scroll. It's actually like really fun. Watch this. Scroll, you can make it a little bit faster. So look at this. Wait for it. It disappeared. Coming back. Or you can change it to slide. Y'all won't guess what this does. Slide. Wait, no. Huh, huh. So it slides in. It stops. Like, kind of like in Google Slides when you make it slide in from like the left or the right. Kind of like that. And you can also make it slide in from the right using this. That, oh. And then it comes in, stops right there. Pretty cool. We'll keep it at that. Bye, guys.